Range Rover Evoque, one of the most beautiful cars I think ever made. I mean, really, just look at this fantastic shape. I mean, it just screams, love me, baby, love me. It's just, wow. I mean, it could even teach the Macan a thing or two about how to design a rear end. And I love the Macan's rear end, but this one just got it right from every single angle. I don't even know what it is. Is it an SUV? Is it a car? A crossover? What? I mean, it's just, I haven't really seen a shape, a modern shape, that really just leaps out as much as this car does to me. From that moment on, it's already 90% of the battle is won. I don't care how the car drives like. When it looks the way this car does, it just covers a multitude of sins. But having said that, okay, that's a touch of an exaggeration. It does have to, of course, drive and go as well as it looks, right? What's it like? Firstly, let's talk about the interior. Wonderful place to be in, by the way, because this is very Range Rover, but it's very confusing because it feels like a Jaguar. If I didn't know any better, if I didn't see this steering wheel in front of me with this Range Rover in front, I would think if somebody just plopped me down, woke me up in the middle of the night, drugged me, and then woke me up in the car like this and opened my eyes, I would think I'm in a Jag. Because it pretty much borrows everything from Jaguar here. This is all a hangover from the marriage, of course. You've got this this whole display here that is right from a Jaguar XF. I mean, boop, cut and paste. Then you've got the dials and all this in front of you, which is once again exactly. The only sort of difference is you have a slightly different steering wheel setup, and of course you got the Range Rover in front. Now, having said that, of course you've got the rotary transmission. That is 100% Jaguar. It is to a four-wheel drive system what your settings are in a camera. If you think about a point-and-shoot camera and you don't know how to sort of take pictures professionally, you just whack it into portrait mode, landscape mode, fireworks mode, you know, that kind of stuff. Well, this is exactly the same thing, but for your car. So when you put it into sand, everything just adjusts so that the car can drive perfectly on sand. It changes the torque, it changes the way the distribution of the four-wheel drive system works, everything to just make it almost absolutely, completely idiot-proof. How about on the road? Well, it's got this great suspension system that is dynamic and adaptive. Now, this thing can actually read 1,000 times a second the way that the car is behaving and adjust accordingly. So if I was to do that, I got you there. It just, wow, the way it just adjusts, it just picks up and it says, I know what's going on, right? I know that the balance has been thrown out, and it just bites so quickly. So that works not just when you're doing maneuvers like that to scare the cameraman. It is also when you're on rough roads, etc. The way that it just sort of compensates for everything. 1,000 times a second, that is, wow. That is about as fast as, well, a politician could take your money, really. I mean, it's that quick. On the highway like this thing is a 2.2 liter diesel. I'm driving the SD4. There's a couple of variants of the diesel. This is the 190 PS version with 420 Newton meters of torque. It's a lovely little engine. It's not as powerful as the one in the Volvo, I have to say. That's 240 and 366, and it's a nice bounce. There's a lot of punch. This one, not quite there, but more than enough to get the car going. Plus, you got this stunning economy, right? You're getting fantastic fuel economy. And the nice thing about this diesel engine, in the luxury cars, you just don't hear it. And that, for me, is a hallmark of a good quality vehicle when you're talking about diesel engines, that you don't hear it. This is not a car that you would go extreme off-road on, but you know, one thing about Range Rover is even the cars you really don't think you should go off-road with, they can do it. So they will never really put out a Range Rover that can't do what a Range Rover was born to do, no matter how elegant it looks. Now, there are some differences. There are two models. The 5-door model, they can go around about 800 millimeters worth of water weighting. That's great in floods. This model here, it's around about 550, which is it's not bad. It's actually not bad, but you wouldn't want to go sort of traversing through the bush and all that. However, it's more than plenty to get you across through floods, despite its low slung profile, etc. I personally love this sunroof here. It's one of a kind. It goes all the way to the back. You can't open it, but it allows so much natural light in here. It gives this cabin, which would otherwise feel a little bit, how would you say, claustrophobic, I guess. It feels like a sports car, really, this car. Just a sports car on stilts. But with this, it makes it feel a little bit more roomy. You don't get that feeling that you're sort of boxed in all the time, even in traffic, etc. The steering is very nicely weighted. It's a nice balance between luxury and sport. And it's also got that nice thing around town. You don't seem to tire of it when you're pedaling it around town. Now, one thing I have to say about this car, even the 3-door, I was just like, when I first saw the back seat there, I thought, oh, it's going to be cruel, I mean, to put somebody in there. You can actually take a couple of extra people in there in relative comfort, as long as they're not way too tall, but in relative comfort for even medium to long drives as well. I like the ergonomics of the car, the way that everything faces you. It's got a very nice, it's aesthetically pleasing, it's very commanding, it's very, well, like I said, very Jaguar, but still, I like the seating position is high. I can have a good commanding view over the road, and that's really what you're always looking for in an SUV. I think everyone that's why the whole segment became popular, is people like to have this commanding view, and this one gives it to you very, very nicely. Plus, the use of materials are just first rate. I mean, what can you expect for a 6 million peso car? It's actually 5.9, but still around about 6 million bucks, and you feel like you're really in a proper Range Rover already, albeit a baby model. But this is really a niche vehicle. This is something that you really want to make a statement with. I mean, you're not quite sports car, you're not quite SUV, you're Evoque, man. You are Evoque. And this thing is just a real head turner. I was bragging about the Volvo having 8-speed. This thing's got 9 speeds. Pretty. I don't know what you need with 9 speeds. I love the way it also takes the corners. It corners in so nicely and freely, and that's the dynamic suspension working there. I'll tell you what you might need 9 speeds for. I'm sitting on 122 kilometers an hour. And I'm doing 1500 revs. That's where you need 9 speed. For a diesel, that's where you're getting the real economy. Plus you have this start-stop that switches the engine off when you're in traffic, and that saves a lot of fuel too in idling. That's also very good. This thing's a statement. They should have called it the Range Rover Statement. What do you think? Nice name, huh? They should stick with that. Even at high speed, the way that the wind just cuts through there is very nice. I'd love to just go sand dune jumping in this thing. This thing just makes me want to just go through those places in Lawag and then just up and down through the sand dunes and just want to have fun in this car. One of the most beautiful SUVs ever built, the Range Rover Evoque. And if you ever got sick of driving it, you could just sort of park it in your lounge room and just stare at it forever and never get sick of it. Okay, that's pretty much all we've got time for this episode of Drive. As you can see, the night has fallen on us. We've done our best to give you your staple diet of anything automotive. So make sure, if you want to get a hold of us and see something featured in the show, you contact us through our Facebook page. It's Drive on 9TV. Or my website, www.jamesdeacon.ph. We'd love to hear from you. So till next week, drive safely, everyone. There's a multitude of sins, but having said that, okay, that's a touch of an exaggeration. It does have to, of course, drive and go as well as it looks, right? What's it like? Firstly, let's talk about the interior. Wonderful place to be in, by the way, because this is very Range Rover, but it's very confusing because it feels like a Jaguar. If I didn't know any better, if I didn't see this steering wheel in front of me with this Range Rover in front, I would think if somebody just plopped me down, woke me up in the middle of the night, drugged me, and then woke me up in the car like this and opened my eyes, I would think I'm in a Jag. Because it pretty much borrows everything from Jaguar here. This is all a hangover from the marriage, of course. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the Range Rover Evoque, one of the most beautiful cars I think ever made. I mean, really, just look at this fantastic shape. I mean, it just screams, love me, baby, love me. It's just, wow. I mean, it could even teach the Macan a thing or two about how to design a rear end. And I love the Macan's rear end, but this one just got it right from every... every single angle. I don't even know what it is. Is it an SUV? Is it a car? A crossover? What? I mean, it's just, I haven't really seen a shape, a modern shape, that really just leaps out as much as this car does to me. From that moment on, it's already 90% of the battle is won. I don't care how the car drives like. When it looks the way this car does, it just covers